And my article is about a topic that I knew would continue to give us things to cover. Massachusetts and their cannabis program. So without further ado, State Treasurer racks up big legal bills in effort to remove cannabis chair. Massachusetts State Treasurer has paid a private law firm hundreds of thousands of dollars as part of her months-long effort to suspend and potentially remove the chair of the state's embattled Cannabis Control Commission, public record shows. According to state payroll records, the law firm Morgan, Lewis & Brockis has billed Treasurer Deb Goldberg's office about $616,000 for representation in her proceeding against Commissioner Chair Shannon O'Brien. So Shannon O'Brien, you've already cost the taxpayers over $500,000 just to get you out. Goldberg suspended O'Brien in September for allegedly making racially insensitive remarks, mistreating an employee, and disparaging the commission's executive director while he was on a paternal leave. O'Brien denies any wrongdoing and went to court to challenge the treasurer's ability to remove her. She's accused Goldberg of acting as judge, jury, and executioner in the matter. You mean just like private enterprise where you have at-will employment? Okay. O'Brien continues to collect her $196,000 salary while she is suspending, adding to an increasingly costly ordeal for Massachusetts taxpayers as the two former allies battle behind closed doors and the commission grapples with broader dysfunctional leadership. Representative Michael Soter, a Bellingham Republican who sits on the legislature's Joint Committee on Cannabis Policy, says he believes the treasurer is wasting money trying to fire O'Brien. If it was so evident what she did, why the hell are you spending $700,000? He said in an interview. Soter said Goldberg should reinstate O'Brien to her role atop the commission because, quite frankly, we need some adults in the room. State Inspector General Jeffrey Shapiro is urging the legislature to appoint a receiver to oversee the commission and the $7 billion marijuana industry it regulates, calling the agency rudderless. O'Brien is one of several high-level suspensions at the commission last year as the agency reckons with persistent allegations of workplace bullying, mismanagement, toxic environment, yada, yada, yada. The treasurer held 4 closed-door hearings where O'Brien presented evidence to defend herself. It's been over a month since the final meeting. Goldberg spokesman Andrew Napolitano in a statement said the treasurer is taking the necessary time to review all the information while the person is still on state salary of $200,000 to make an informed decision. The Massachusetts Fiscal Alliance, a conservative state government watchdog group, had harsh words for both sides of the fight. With O'Brien lacking the confidence of those around her, unable to lead her organization and unwilling to step down, it doesn't seem like there's much choice for the state other than to make these legal expenditures, spokesperson Paul Diego Craney said. At the same time, Craney criticized Goldberg for having appointed O'Brien, a former state treasurer. That decision has already cost the taxpayers over $800,000 in wasted spending, and that figure is likely to top the $1 million mark before this saga finishes, he said. Joe Barrelane, a spokesman for O'Brien, said it's common for public employees to continue being paid while suspended, and it should be noted that Shannon O'Brien has had to pay her own legal bills out of pocket to defend her reputation. Chair O'Brien was attempting to fix the management problem and dysfunction at the agency recently highlighted by the state inspector general when she was suspended by the treasurer for no justifiable reason, he said in a statement. In a letter to state lawmaker Shapiro, the inspector general said the state law that establishes the Cannabis Commission did not clearly define the authority of the chair and executive director, creating the conditions that led to the current power struggle. The remaining commissioners earlier this month stripped the acting executive director of her leadership duties and released a draft charter aimed at better defining the agency's leadership roles. That document is the result of 2 years of private mediation and executive sessions. The lengthy process has been yet another expense for taxpayers, according to Shapiro, to the tune of $160,000. So now we've got $160,000 for that 2-year exercise, $616,000 in legal fees to state just to get this person out of the role that other people don't want them in. And they're getting paid $200,000 a year while they sit on the sideline picking their nose and complaining about no longer having their job. Whew. This is Yarrow Kubrin, High at 9 News. I'd like to know what everybody else thinks.
I had to zoom in on that picture to make sure that wasn't Steven Tyler. I was looking at the screen on the playback and I was I don't know why they chose that picture of him, but okay.
That's funny. I mean, I think this is another reason why this Massachusetts whole program needs to go into receivership.
Pathetic.
This is crazy. I mean, this is
government's the only job where you can do a terrible job and still have a job.
Well, I mean, in all fairness, a weatherman or weatherwoman is the one job where you can be wrong every single day and still keep your job. So I think we have to include that in there.
That's fair. Also fair. I mean, yeah, they've obviously grossly mismanaged the whole department, and I think receivership is absolutely appropriate. And the amount of money that was spent to try to save her ass is one of those excellent shining examples of the mismanagement and the financial malfeasance in their department.
And I feel really bad for the Massachusetts taxpayers because they've already been hosed for this $500,000. They're going to be hosed for more. And if the agency goes into receivership, the taxpayer is going to be on the hook for all of that. And that's just going to be a crazy exorbitant fee that they didn't really need to absorb.
No, it's supposed to be a revenue-producing exercise to regulate cannabis.
Mm-hmm. It's so crazy, man. It's just a plant.
It is just a plant. You're so right, Mathieu St. Germain. So
now
I think they should treat it completely differently, personally, but that's just me.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's an ulcer-inducing exercise in the dysfunction of government.
That is true. That is true.
I mean, if you didn't need cannabis before this, what would you use after this to soothe your frustration at the way in which government has fumbled yet another opportunity?
Fair enough.